All right. Well, I know this is a really late opinion and it might be kind of weird to be voicing it this late, but I want to voice it because just because I haven't seen anyone else say something similar, so I thought it was worth putting out there. And it's that I hate the TF2 comic finale. Everyone else likes it, and I get why they like the last comic, and I hate it though. And while there isn't anything to be gained from hating it with me or starting some like big wave of hate for it at this point, I just wish people weren't so quick to like it. But I guess waiting for so long, it kind of keeps people from being too picky. Maybe if it was a little bit sooner, maybe they would have also disliked it like I did, or at least not liked it so much. Anyway, right off the bat, I hate it because the finale feels like it was very obviously not meant to be the original finale. And the finale we got, it feels like it was just meant to wrap everything up as fast as possible to shut everyone up about it not being finished. Because like right around the beginning, Soldier's just like, "Oh, guys, I've been living in a cave full of Australium. The stuff we've been like centering the whole plot around." And I'm not even exaggerating. Like he literally just mentions living in a whole cave of Australium, and everyone's like, "Wow, it's been right under our nose the whole time. Wow." And it just it feels like it kind of spits on the effort of that the characters went through for every other thing so far. This fight over everything, when in the end their goal was getting Australium, or like a lot of the plot was revolved around Australium. And on top of that, just besides the that being an obvious sign of wrapping up, they realized they didn't really give the engineer anything to do because he was with the administrator the whole comic and he barely had like any time to shine, or he didn't really have any time to shine at all. He never really did anything. They just kind of teased him at most. So in order to fix that, well, and I use the biggest possible quotes for fix. They just have him do a little one-on-one talk with Pauling for the sake of him doing something, which is it's better than nothing, but it's very obviously hammered in just so that engineer doesn't end up doing nothing the entire series. Which just goes to show that they probably did plan for more originally, so that engineer would have done something. They're not gonna. I doubt that they plan to just shove one of their core characters in the background the whole time. It also felt like ruling out Scout and Miss Pauling was a bit unnecessary. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I just think it retroactively lessens the value of the expiration date movie. To have Scout be a single father to a bunch of kids with nameless mothers in the future, as funny as it is. And speaking of Scout, it also seems like a weird decision to keep Spy from telling Scout that he's his dad, since, everything else was getting wrapped up quick and easy. I mean, I get that the execution would have been super sloppy and could have been better delivered if there were more comics before it. But to just have him never tell him feels really weird to me, especially since Scout is pretty much now on his own now that his mom's implied to be dead. Judging by the fact that she's not there in the dinner and Spy is gazing at a picture of her that Scout hung up. And there's no real evidence for this, but it feels like whatever the original vision was for the comics continuation has been gone for such a long time. And I feel like they kind of tell us that in a way. I feel like they kind of tell us in a meta way that they wrap things up as quickly as they could because the original vision has effectively been lost. And I say this because, when they finally get over to the administrator, she's got Zephaniah Man all hooked up to a life machine basically for the sake of torturing him. And Miss Pauling asks why she's doing all that. What did he do to get her to torture him so much? To just keep him alive just for the sake of torturing him. And she says that, after all that time, she doesn't even remember what it was. And to me, that just feels kind of meta. It feels like the writers are in a way saying it's been so long they don't remember why they were doing what they were doing. But and maybe that sounds crazy, but my personal interpretation, call it a headcanon or whatever. But that's what I get from it, pretty much. Just a way to tell everyone why maybe there weren't more explanations of things or more comics sooner. But yeah, it just felt like the writers were talking to us in that moment, saying they don't know what the original vision was for so long. And if I'm right, it might explain pretty much the entire comic's direction, you know. And on top of that, Saxon Hale just kind of gets his company back. It's not even explained. All that said is, after it does like the cut to the future, it says, "Oh, he stormed in here a few years ago to get his company back," and he does have it back, but he's just like managing it with Olivia, Gray Man's daughter. She's just there, and they don't really explain what happened at all. They don't explain really any of that. He just has it back miraculously. And then as soon as he does that, he quits again to go like fight animals again or something. They don't specify, but it feels very rushed, basically. So yeah, that's pretty much all the reasons I don't like the finale comic, titled "The Days Have Worn Away," which is kind of ironic and kind of relates to my little theory about the whole after so much time they forgot the purpose, and that might be a quick wrap up theory that I had. That might be a hot take, but yeah, that's why I don't like it. And that's a little bonus while I'm at it. It's kind of relates to the feelings I have towards Half-Life 3 and why I feel like we might be better off without getting a Half-Life 3. Because I feel like after so long, a similar thing might have happened. I feel like after so long, the original vision might have been lost. And I don't think we're ever going to get the successor that was. We're not going to get a successor with the same formula that we got the other games with. It's not going to be. It's not going to be a true successor, I guess you could say. After so long, I don't feel like the vision's there. The people that were involved are probably changed or even died. I know some of them have died at least. So yeah, I just don't think it'll be as good. I don't have any faith that it would be good. And on top of that, I haven't played Half-Life Alyx, but I heard that it retcons the ending of Half-Life 2. And if that is true, and I'm not just misunderstanding something, I feel like that's even more evidence for things having changed. People and the direction of the story changing so much that they actually go back and retroactively change the old games to fit the story. That's even a bigger sign of the original formula being lost. Can't get any more lost than that, right? To change the original to fit the future plans. So yeah, I think we might be better off never getting a 3 if you ask me. But that is a might. Maybe there is some Valve magic in there. Maybe they will pull something that's a masterpiece out. But yeah, that's those are my thoughts on it, and that's about it. Goodbye.